This is Legion, and in today's video I'm going to show you the basics of making a game in Unity. In the Unity editor you can see that I have a black screen right there. Clicking on the main camera you can see clear flags is set to solid color, background is set to black. Clicking on the background you can change this value, as well as you can add, instead of solid color you can add backgrounds like normal one, as you will see in further tutorials. Now I have imported the medieval king pack. I will add the link for this asset in the description down below. You can add it from the asset store. It's completely free. Check it out, it's very cool. Now here you can see that we have sprites folder. Going to the idle and dragging and dropping, you can see there is a character right there. Making the scale a little bit bigger, let's say 3 and 3, and you can see the player. Now I'm going to rename this to king and add a tag which is player. Now you can add any tag that you want, like I don't know, YouTube, save, and you can go to the king and again check that. So I'm going to revert that back to player, and I am going to go to my assets and drag this platform, making it very wider on the x-axis and a little bit bigger on the y-axis, because this is our ground. Dragging it down, and I am now going to add a very important component called not rigidbody, box collider. So it's a box collider 2D. Editing the collider, you can see it's perfectly set, so I don't actually need to edit this. And basically colliders are the components that allow us to stand on things in this particular scenario, but in general they are the components that allow collision between two game objects. Now going back to the game, no, actually I need to add a layer. It's called platform. You can do it exactly like the tags. Now it's a platform layer. And going back to the king, we are going to add a box collider 2D, and we are going to edit the collider to fit the model of the sprite. Now stay tuned with me, and we are done. Now I'm going to add another important component, which is called the rigidbody 2D. Now what are rigidbody 2D? What are rigid bodies 2D? It's basically the component that handles the physics in the Unity engine. You can see there is a mass, there is line and drag, angular drag. We are going to set this to 0. So basically angular drag is the air resistance. Gravity scale, if you set that to 0, no gravity will affect the rigid body. Now I'm going to leave this as 1, and so we can kind of check this out. I'm going to run the game, and you will see as just first thing that happens, the player just falls down due to gravity. But you can see once I reach the ground, it collides with the collider and it stays there. Now this is great. Stopping the game. Going back to the king, we can add a script. So I have already made a player script in which it handles movement, ground check, and jumping. I have already made previous videos on those topics. I will leave the link for those videos on the top right of the screen. Now here we can check the ground layer as platform. We can add jump force and add the move speed. And duplicating the platform with Control D. So if you duplicate anything, every single component will be duplicated with the same values. So I'm going to drag this and make it a little bit smaller and drag it to, let's say, here, and duplicate it once more and drag it here. Now clicking on the king and dragging him down and running the game once more. After running the game, you can see that I can move with the right arrow key to the right and with the left arrow key to the left. Pressing the space bar, I would go up. Now adjusting the jump force a little bit, let's say make it 10, and jumping once more, I can walk on the platform. Now again, and walk on this other platform. So this is just the basics of game. Just this is a bug. You need to fix it by going over rigidbody 2D under constraints and freezing the rotation on the Z axis. Now I forgot to say that. So this brings us to the end of our video, but you can see there is no animations whatsoever on the king. So I will make another separate video for animations. Also, you would think it's better for the camera to move on this kind of platformer games, to move the character, and you are right. So I will also make another tutorial dealing with moving the camera with Cinemachine. So hit that like and subscribe button for more videos like this, and if you want to ask for another video in particular, you can ask me in the comment section down below. So peace out.